Alright, so Uncle Cliff wanted some video footage of the Tesla. Big old giant screen. It's got 3G cell tower connection, and I guess since my car is 4 years old, you can upgrade to 4G for like $500. I don't see anywhere that I have to pay for it. Like I think it's just built into the cars. Streaming radio. All controls are done by this screen, and I'll show you real quick. Autopilot. I'm not going to touch the brake or gas at all. My hand is barely on the wheel, so it's stopping by itself, and I've just taken back control by grabbing the wheel. It needs to see lines. So those two lights, blue lights, are mean autopilot is on. So if I were to let go of the steering wheel, not that it matters, like right now it's going to steer. And in theory, it should stop. And it is. I'm not pressing the brake at all. So what happens is, it notices the speed limit signs. That's why it says 45. When in autopilot mode, maximum it's willing to go over the speed limit is 5 miles an hour. So I can't really force it to go faster than that. Like I couldn't go 10 miles an hour over the speed limit with autopilot on. Now if I just turn on what is basically cruise control, so there's a little switch right here. And that switch, if I click it towards me, flip it towards me like 2 times, click, click, and you have to be at least going first. You can't be stopped. That turns on the mode you see right now, which is basically the autopilot. So it'll keep the speed and stay within its lane and stop and go. Like when this light turns green and this car goes, I will not be putting my foot on the pedals. It'll actually go by itself. But if I only clicked it back once instead of twice, it'll do what is known as cruise control. So the light on the right, the steering wheel blue, that won't come on, but the one on the left that says max 50 will come on. With that one, it's basically cruise control, yet the car will stop like it does now. And if I only had that on when this car in front of me goes, it would take off by itself. Now of course I've got to have my hand on the wheel. So right now, as you can see, I'm not even touching the pedals and we're already going because the car in front of me is going. If you don't put your hand on the wheel, it will bug you in a few minutes to say, hey, put your hand on the wheel. So you'll get a notification right here that says, put light pressure on the wheel. If you fail to do that, it'll disengage autopilot. And not only that, it will tell you, like if it keeps bugging you and you put your hands on it, then you take your hands off and it bugs you again, and then it bugs you again. I don't know how many times, maybe 3 times in a row, like three strikes and you're out. It tells you autopilot disengaged, and when you try to turn it back on, it tells you, sorry, you can no longer use this for the remainder of the trip. So you would have to pull over somewhere, stop the car. Like, I don't know if you have to get out, because once you get out and walk away, that's when it goes to off mode and shuts itself off and then locks the doors or whatever. But I'm not sure because I haven't done it, but long story short, you got to stop and start over, and then it will let you engage it again. But you got to keep your hand, you got to have at least one hand, some pressure on the wheel. And like right now, even though my hand's down there, it's driving. I'm not driving at all. My feet are off the pedals, and I'm not steering. My hand just has a little bit of pressure on the steering wheel, so it will leave me alone. So this car, and from when I talked to a guy today at one of the supercharging stations, he said that he has a brand new Model 3, and from what he was told, even if he got like the super enhanced autopilot stuff for like $6,000 extra add-on, which in his case it's just an add-on that they can do over the air, software upgrade, it doesn't self-drive. He said, but it will take you off of an interstate on-ramp. Like if you're already on the interstate, it'll take you off. So I'm gonna hit the brake, and I've just turned everything off by hitting the brake so I can make this turn. And if I click it 2 times, back on, maximum speed 50 because the speed limit here is 45. That's set by me default. There's a setting in there that you can tell it to go 5 miles an hour. So if I push down on that lever, not in or out, but down, it goes down in 5 mile per hour increments. So now I'm going 45 in a 45. I could go down to 40 in a 45, and it will do it for me. So I'm going to put it back up to 50. So there's a couple other features I'll show you in a minute. All right, so right now the road is kind of crappy. The lines, like the white line on the right is hit or miss. It's really terrible. The ones on the left are kind of okay. And the display here, as you see the car, now you see the line show up, it recognized a good section of white line on the right. Still not happy with the left side, the center line with the dots. What typically happens is on a normal road that's kept up, it'll see the lines easily, and you'll see, which in a few minutes, maybe we'll, not even a few minutes, maybe like 30 seconds, it'll pick up on the lines and be happy with it. And you'll see 2 lines. Now the car can and will still auto steer, autopilot with 1 line, whether it's the left or the right. There's the left coming up. So I'm gonna kick it on, and same thing, 45 zone, it'll let me do 50. Now it sees both lines, it's happy. Now there's 1 line, 2 lines. As long as there's 1, it'll continue to work. It's kind of interesting. And it has, I guess it has, the newer models have cameras, like several sensors, radar, like to help it steer and avoid stuff. This being a 2015, I think has a single camera forward and maybe a radar, like a single radar forward, as far as I know. I'm not sure if the camera's built into the radar or what the deal is actually, but I know the newer cars, they have, you know, a few of either the radar and cameras, or cameras and 1 radar, whatever it is. They have more than the 2015 models. And I think if you got a 2016 model that was after the month of June, I think, that's when they start adding some of the extra camera stuff to them, in a different version of autopilot, like 2.5 or 2.0, I forgot what it is. Now they're up to 3.0. Now supposedly they're going to allow an upgrade to the newer models, probably 2017 or 18 and newer. So it'll be over the air kind of an upgrade that does complete self-driving. So you just punch in an address and it will stop the car for you at a stop sign or a stoplight, which mine does not do. And even the new ones don't do that right now. But I think when they do the upgrade, they will. And not only that, they'll actually drive you to your destination with the help of GPS as well. So you can just punch in an address and basically it'll just take you there. And stop, go, left, right, stop sign, everything. But that's not out yet, as far as I know. So that'll be an upgrade in the future. So if you noticed, it saw a speed limit sign of 40 mile an hour now, and automatically took me down from 50 mile an hour to 45, because again, it's willing to do 5 mile an hour over. Now I'm just slowing down now because this turn is actually quite sharp, and it just took it by itself. Now, if I was doing the 45 on that, it probably would start beeping at me and like, take control immediately, it will tell you, because it's a little too quick of a turn to be going 40. And even the sign before that says, you know, like 30 or 35 mile an hour turn ahead. However, the speed limit sign was still 40. So this car, me going 45, it's too much. Although the car probably could do it, I've tried it, and it pretty much yelled at me and said, take the wheel immediately. It's, you know, it's making noise like beep, 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 beep. So it's kind of interesting. So I'm gonna pause the video till I get home, and we're gonna do a little a launch mode test. All right, so I'm back. So we're gonna click on this car and driving mode, and there's Ludicrous and Ludicrous Plus, which is max battery power. Turn that on. Hit the X. It's already ready. It says ready. So this enables you to do what is known as launch mode. You hold the brake down. You got to hold the brake down hard, not just hold it down. Stab the throttle while you're doing that for just a second. Oh, let's try it again. It'll say launch mode activated. Launch mode enabled. So then you stab it again, let go of the brake. Oh my God. Oh my God, that's fast. If you've ever been in an airplane, or better yet, you go to a roller coaster, and you know how it's like 0 mile an hour, it's just sitting there, or it's like going 1 or 2 mile an hour, and then all of a sudden it instantly gets to 60, like in, you know, 2 or 3 seconds. That is pretty much what just happened. And I felt the tire spin just a hair. I heard him. Of all-wheel drive, front motor, rear motor, electric, fully electric. So again, this is a 2015 Tesla Model S P85D. So performance, D is dual motor, and it has the ludicrous update, whatever. And I just noticed the software updated to this today, actually, Ludicrous Plus. I read online that the P100D's got a little bit faster, 0 to 60. I'm not sure if mine is because it's a 2015. I'm not really sure, but boy, does it feel fast. And not only that, I'm at half battery. To get the absolute top performance out of it, you've got to be, you know, as close as a full battery as you can. However, that's still neck snapping fast, what I just did. So, I'm gonna tell you another little story in a second. All right, so here's another kind of funny story. So it just got this update I was telling you about, this Ludicrous thing, Ludicrous Plus, today. And I had an earlier version from last year, 2018 something was the version. So I'm not sure, did my car get a slightly better 0 to 60 time? I don't know. Typically the P85D Ludicrous is 3.1 seconds, although when they did a software update, it brought it down to 2.8. But I don't know if that's like 2016 plus vehicles, like newer, or the 2015's got that too. I'm still trying to figure that out. But the Ludicrous Plus supposedly gives you the absolute best 0 to 60 times that the car has to offer, which I didn't have that before. Although I did have the max battery thing, I did have to get to it through a different way, and I could still do launch mode. So I don't know, whatever. 2.8, 0 to 60, or 3.1, let me tell you something. I don't think it matters. It's neck snapping fast. Like, your head needs to be against the seat when you do it, or else it's going to hit the seat whether you like it or not. So I was doing a flight lesson yesterday, and it was around 7 o'clock, so we did it till about 8 o'clock, landed, and was heading home. I wanted to get something to eat, though, so I stopped, got something to eat, started heading back home, and I see this new Mustang GT 5.0. You know, they brought the 5.0s back now. They're quite a bit faster than they used to be. He's got some kind of exhaust system at the very least, from what I can hear, and who knows what else he may or may not have had done to it. But, you know, a show off, custom license plate, stabbing the gas while he's driving, slowing down, kind of driving douchey, you know, getting close to the guy in front of him. It's a single lane highway. I can see he wants to get around him and start hauling ass. And then he drops a cigarette out on the ground. I'm like, no. I think it's time to teach somebody a little lesson. Stop showing off your car. Stop acting like a badass, and certainly stop acting like a douche. And last but not least, don't throw your effing cigarette down on the ground. You got an ashtray in the car, put it in your damn car. Don't let that shit hit out the floor, go out into the woods, or in the, you know, in the earth. That it's non-biodegradable filters, you know. Dude, have a little, you're gonna smoke, you know what I mean? Like, don't throw the shit on the ground. That was the last straw. Okay, that's it. I need to go straight. He's turning right. I think I'm gonna act like a predator, and you know how the predator follows its prey a little bit until the time is right. And the way he's going, it's just a single lane both ways. Car in front of him, whatever. He finally gets an opening, hauls ass, way faster than the speed limit. I'm like, no, I'm a predator, monitoring my prey, and I will pounce when the time is right. And we go through some windy roads, some little construction. Okay, I'm back behind him again. Little S curve, and as the S is more like a backwards S to the left, it opens up to this beautifully new paved road where this little pickup truck that was in front of him was stayed in the center lane. And so there's 3 lanes. You could go to the right, center, or the left. The truck stays in the center, which is directly behind, in front of us. He immediately nails it, the Mustang, to the left, you know, the fast lane or whatever you want to call it. Again, beautifully paved road, real nice blacktop. He nails it to go around the truck, gets back in the center lane. I nail it, following suit, the same thing he does, except I stay in the left lane. He could tell right away, you know, someone's coming up on him. So he never lets off and just keeps going as fast as he can. Again, I don't know what he had done or didn't, you know, was it just an exhaust system add-on, not much else? I have no idea. But what I can tell you is I kind of went around him like he wasn't really racing at all. Like he was kind of sitting there, yet he wasn't sitting there. And so the old girl, the old Tesla, got her first piece, you know, first victim, and couldn't have happened to a better douchebag, actually. So, yeah, take care.